Hello and welcome. This is Saturday News at Noon. I'm your host, Keith Lander, coming to you from the Tabernacle Baptist Church studios right here in Dayton, Ohio. Thank you for tuning in for the last show. Thanks for all your comments. Like I said before, if you offer a comment, I'll make sure I see it and hit like and make sure you know I read your comment. Now, if my voice sounds a little scratchy, I'm getting over a cold, and this is the end of it, I hope. And so hopefully none of you have to deal with any colds like I just dealt with for the last 3 days. So my voice did come back for the show, and thank God for that. And so on today's show, we got an interesting show. We're going to clear up some myths about the COVID-19 vaccine, because there seems to be a lot of misinformation out there. And like I said before, on this show, we want to make sure you get the accurate information. We want to make sure you get the truthful information. And we want to make sure when you share this information, you can share it with the confidence of knowing that it's been researched. And it's been researched to the point where we give it to what are the facts. So this is, I will offer my opinion, but you will hear the facts before that. And so when you deal with facts, then it's hard to debate facts. You can, but you'll be making a fool out of yourself. So we're going to continue on with the show, as the first issue is always the scam alert. And in the scam alert, we always have a scam on these free trials. You ever seen those free trials that pop up on your social media networks, and they offer a product and they have a limited time and say it's free? Well, be very careful of those things, y'all, because what happens is, according to the Federal Trade Commission, they've documented about $1.4 billion in consumer loss from this widespread fraud since 2000. So that's 1 billion people has been scammed, dollar-wise on these free trials. And the way this thing works, and the way you can recognize it if it's a scam or not, for number one, there's a lot of stuff on their website, and they'll probably use some talking heads to say how good the product is and all this kind of thing. Well, they give you a certain time limit to reply whether or not you want to keep the product. Well, if the time limit is 14 days, whichever, okay, it's going to take them almost a week and a half to get you the product, right? And so when you start using it, by the time you use it to see if the thing works, your free trial is over. And then what happens is they automatically enroll you every month into buying this product, and then you have to call and jump through hoops to get these people to stop. Well, don't do that, folks. If you're looking at these products and they say free, and you don't see the price anywhere on that site, I'd be cautious not to continue on that site. And the Federal Trade Commission do have some tips. It says, now, they make these grandiose ideas that these products are going to work far better than any product ever on the market. Be very cautious of that, folks. And when you look at the what they call the testimonials, make sure you do some research, either with the Better Business Bureau or research that product to see if there's any other reviews of that product online. Because if you just look at that site where the product is being advertised, they're going to give you all the most magnificent reviews you could ever think of. So you have to go to another site to see whether or not this product is what they say it is. So be cautious of that. That's number one. Now, you look at the terms and conditions and the return cancellation policy. Try to find that on that website somewhere. And it's probably going to be hard to find because it's going to be worded so small and so big and so in this legal language that you're going to get tired of reading it after about the fifth or sixth sentence. But if you really want this product and you don't want to get stuck with a fraud, then just tough it out. The other point is, you have to look at the company in and of itself. So you can Google that company who's have this product. Just Google the company and see what pops up. Those are the easiest ways to do it. And the other thing is the cutoff dates I mentioned. And then you have to, if you do sign on for some of this stuff, make sure that these companies are not taking out more than the agreement allows, because some of these companies, They'll charge you one price, and they'll say, oh, that was an introductory price, and then they'll jack the price up on you on the next month, and they say, oh, this is the regular price. So do your homework on these things with these free trials that pops up, because everything they say is free is not free. It may be some catches to it. And these people are really slick. I keep saying that. I can't say it enough. These people are as slick as they come. They know how to work the system. They done looked at every aspect of it, and they know how to do you the hustle. So don't get hustled by these free trial things, y'all. If you're really looking at a product, search on reliable sources. Look up certain similar products. Look at the reviews. Amazon does a good job. You can look at the reviews on Amazon. Amazon usually don't carry any junk most of the time. And so just do your homework before you hit one of these free trials, because I know a friend of mine, he did this thing, and he was amazed and dismayed when he looked at his bank statement and they took out $75 for some supplements that basically wasn't nothing more than sugar and some vitamin C. So he had to go through a whole bunch of hoops to get that thing stopped. So I don't want you to end up like him. All right, so we're moving on. Job openings, folks. The Dayton Racino Hollywood Gaming is looking for people. They just had a job fair. The job fair is over, but you still can look for a job at the Hollywood Casino, gambling casino. That's what it is, Hollywood Casino, Racino, that is. If you're looking for a job, I suggest you go to the website. The website is www.pngamining.com/careers. I'll give you the website one more time. www.pngamining.com/careers. And some of these new employees are eligible up to $750 sign-in bonus. And you get the sign-in bonus after you complete the 90 days employment at the Racino. So that's some good jobs, y'all. So if you're looking, if you know somebody who's looking for a job, they're looking for all kind of people down there, according to the Dayton Daily News article. They're looking for security people and hostess and housekeeping people and everything else in between. So check them out, y'all. Dayton Racino. Check them out. All right. I always try to keep up with what's going on in Columbus, and some of these bills that are being proposed, it makes me scratch my head. Here's one I want you to really understand. Proposed law would broadly weaken Ohio vaccine requirements beyond COVID-19. Now, these lawmakers thought it was a good idea to propose a piece of legislation that will weaken vaccine requirements beyond COVID-19. This is out of Dayton Daily News, and it's amazing. Now, what this thing would do is it will hospitals, nursing homes, businesses would not be allowed to require or request people receive any vaccine, not just those for COVID-19, if the proposed Ohio bill becomes law. Now, get this, folks. The words coronavirus and COVID-19 are not even used anywhere in the bill language. Area health care facilities already commonly mandate some vaccines to protect patients and staff from such vaccines for flu and chickenpox. These policies would be banned if this bill comes to law. Now, according to Sarah Hackenbrach, CEO of the Greater Dayton Area Hospital Association, she said, "We have an obligation as a healthcare entity to ensure that we are not the location of a spreader." She says, these are decisions that the hospital need to be able to make within the walls of their institution to protect their patients and to protect the caregivers. That's what she said. Now, these people, they call this thing the Vaccine Choice and Anti-Discrimination Act. Now, it would ban officials, state and local schools, child care, nursing, assisted living homes, healthcare providers, insurance, businesses, and other organizations from requiring or requesting that they get vaccinated, with the exception for parts of Ohio law which require certain child care or school vaccines. Now, the state representative Jennifer Gross, she introduced this thing. It's House Bill 248. Now, and you might be saying to yourself, why? That's what I said to myself, why? Governor Mike DeWine has spoke out against House Bill 248. Excuse me, he said he's against it, and hopefully he won't be signing it. So here we are, folks. We're here in the state of Ohio. Instead of trying to make sure people are safe, make sure that these COVID viruses and things such as this don't spread, instead of the lawmakers working on that part, they're trying to make it where it's weakened so that I guess the virus can spread all over the body and everybody gets sick and die, I guess. I don't know what these lawmakers are talking about or what's in their head, especially this Jennifer Gross. She's a Republican out of Westchester Township. She's the one that introduced this bill, and she has some other GOP lawmakers, 15 of them to be exact, even some from this area. Rodney Creech out of West Alexandria, Bill Dean, Republican out of Xenia, Paul Zitwanger Republican out of Madison. They're all on board with this thing. Nano Valtez, I guess that's his name. I probably screwed that up, so it don't make any difference. Republican out of Urbana. What's wrong with these people? They don't want to be vaccinated. They want to make it where everybody else don't have to be vaccinated. And we've seen where these vaccination works. You don't believe me? Remember all these diseases that we used to have? Polio, huh? You know what eradicated that? A vaccine, right? Whooping cough, you know what eradicated that? A vaccine. All these, the measles, you know what eradicated that? Vaccine. The mumps. You know, when they used to get the mumps, they used to tie a ribbon around your head, up around like that with some what was it, garlic in there. You know what I mean? Y'all seen those pictures. You know what eradicated that? A vaccine, right? So you know what's eradicating the COVID-19? A vaccine, and it seems to be working because the rates where people are contacting this COVID-19 has gone down. Now, well, you can believe it or not, but this is the science of this thing. And so that's why I say we have to be careful about who we send to places to represent us, because they come up with this boneheaded piece of legislation like this. I don't know what these people are thinking about. And they had a hearing. And in one of the hearings, this woman by the name of Sherry Tenpenny, and that is her name, I didn't mess that name up, she come up and she said that these vaccines are making everybody magnetized. You know what I mean? Everybody getting magnetized. And if you've seen at the hearing, and you can look it up, I don't know if we have the footage or not, but
I'm sure you've seen the pictures all over the internet of people who've had these shots and now they're magnetized. They can put a key on their forehead, it sticks. They can put spoons and forks all over them and they can stick, because now we think that there's a metal piece to that. There's been people who've long suspected that there was some sort of an interface, yet to be defined, an interface between what's being injected in these shots and all of the 5G towers.
There is nothing in these COVID-19 shots that magnetize anything. And this is from PolitiFact, which is a organization that do the research and come up with the facts of what people say in public, especially like this nonsense. And I'll read it to you. Her latest comments, she testified at the invitation of the Ohio Republican lawmakers in favor of a bill that would prevent businesses or government from requiring proof of COVID-19 vaccinations, according to the Columbus Dispatch. Now, she says, I'm sure you've seen the pictures all over the internet who had these shots and now they magnetized, Tenpenny said during a June 8th hearing. He says, they can put a key on their forehead and it sticks. They can put a spoon and forks all over them and it sticks, because now we think that there have been metal pieces in that. Well, look, folks, I just had some spoons and all the other kind of stuff this morning, And I would have brung one with me, but I didn't. I stuck it to my forehead. It didn't stick. I'm not magnetized, folks. There's nothing in there that's magnetized. According to PolitiFact, these claims are baseless. There are no magnetic ingredients in any other COVID-19 vaccines approved for the U.S. for emergency use. Now, according to Thomas Hope, who is a vaccine researcher from Northwestern University, he said there's nothing there that magnetized can intact with. So, a magnet can intact with. So, there's nothing in there, folks. I mean, I don't know where these people get these folks from. They come on with this stuff. And then they got the nerve to say, Dr. Fauci. I'm getting Dr. Anthony Fauci. You know who he is. You've seen him on TV. He's the leading, one of the leading doctors, researchers on these viruses. Been in it for 40 years. Been doing it for a long time. This man knows what he's talking about. According to some of these people and some of these politicians who jump on these airways and start spitting out their mouth, they said the email from Dr. Fauci shows everyone was lied to about wearing a mask to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Well, according to PolitiFact, all right, here we go. A widely shared Instagram post said that an email from Dr. Fauci shows everyone was lied to about wearing a mask to prevent the spread of the COVID-19. The post cites the email Fauci sent February 5th, 2020, when the consensus among health experts was for people generally not to wear masks unless they had symptoms of illness. At the time, researchers did not know that people without symptoms were spreading the virus. The guidelines that Fauci and other experts changed in April 2020 as more evidence about the virus and its transmission emerged, and mask wearing was widely recommended. So, the way this thing works, folks, when the research came in and started investigating and looking at this virus, the COVID-19 virus, the research changed because more evidence and more research were gathered to understand this virus. I'll give you a good example. Okay, you take a drug on the market, right? They put this drug out, let's say heart condition drug, right? And then heart condition drug is made available to the public, right? After about a few years, someone discovers that this heart condition drug caused other harm. And the FDA does what? They pull the drug off the market, right? Now, did they lie to you at the time when they released the drug? No. They gave it based on the research that was available. As more research was done, they found out, hey, this thing has a possibility of harming more than just your heart. That's the way science works. So you're arguing with science, and science is based on research. And the more research you do, the better off you're able to gather up information to combat whatever virus you're looking at. And so these people play this game is they want to single Dr. Fauci out, but they can't name not one other researcher who had the same information, who said the same thing that Dr. Anthony Fauci said. They can't find other, they won't want to say any of those other names because they know Dr. Fauci wasn't alone. He had a whole host of researchers saying the same thing. And as they got more educated about this virus, then the research changed to the point where we are now, where we're getting a handle on this virus. So, I just wanted to bring that up, folks, because don't fall trap for this game where they like to play one person and single out one person and say, hey, look, he wrong, he lied. The man didn't lie. The man gave you the information he had at the time. Him and a whole bunch of other researchers gave you the information they had at the time. As they got more information, and they researched it more, and of course they understood what they were dealing with to that point, and things changed. He wasn't alone. This is how science works. Did y'all go to school? Did y'all learn science in school? Huh? Because it sounds like some of these people didn't. And from the way I hear them talk, it sounds like, I don't know if they graduated from grade school with the stuff that come out of their mouth. So, I'll move on. Obamacare. The Supreme Court just handed down a decision. Yeah, I'll call it Obamacare now, but it's the Affordable Health Care Act. A lot of people call it Obamacare because they thought it was going to fail, right? But it didn't. And you know what? The Supreme Court agreed that there were some challenges from some Republican states that wanted to throw the Affordable Care out the window, all right? That though 30 million people has received insurance under the Affordable Health Care Act. 31 million, all right? Now, you remember when the Republican Party was fighting and talking about they had a plan? Remember when the last president claimed he gonna have to give you a big, beautiful health care plan? And remember when all these people from these political, especially Republican parties, said they was going, hey, we got a plan, our plan's going to be better, our plan's going to be cheaper. And have you seen it? Have you seen their plan? This was back when President Obama was in office, right? So we going back, what, about 15 years, maybe? Have you seen their plan? No. You know why? Because they don't have a plan. They never had a plan. The plan that President Obama used came from a conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation, right? It was one of the best, probably, plans put on paper, but there was going to be some fine tweaking to it, like every big piece of legislation like that. But overall, the plan worked, and it's still working, all right? So, all you people talking about, yeah, we don't want that Obamacare, we don't want, well, it seems to be a success, right? Now, let me tell you the other piece of this thing, all right? The other piece is that Medicaid. All you people out there who receive Medicaid, and Medicaid, it's a low-cost prevention service, and Medicaid is one of those extensions, and this program insures lower-income people, including those who work in jobs that don't pay much or provide health insurance. You get it through Medicaid. And I know some folks out there who have and is on Medicaid, and at the time, they were trying to denounce Obamacare because they didn't understand Medicaid was tied to the Affordable Care Act. And if you get rid of the Affordable Care Act, you get rid of Medicaid. You got it? Now, so that's the way it works, folks. I mean, we have to do a little bit more research and reading. You know what I mean? So some guy asked me, he said, what news do you watch? I said, I don't watch the news, I read the news. And so he asked me, well, what you read? And I ran down some publications, and I'm not going to run them down because I'm going to give him no free advertising, but I ran down some publications to him, and you know what he said? Oh, because he thought I was going to say one of these news outlets. Oh, I watch this news outlet. And then he's going to come back and say, well, I don't care what you watch what you watch. But when you're done watching, make sure you understand what you watch and what you repeat is true and accurate. Because if you try to debate me with garbage that you see over those conservative news outlets, I'm going to clean your clock. So, the Affordable Care Act is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Medicaid is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It can only get stronger. It only get better. And all those people who were against it, all them people who said, oh, the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare is going to kill jobs, hadn't killed jobs. Obamacare is going to ration out care, hasn't rationed out care. You're going to lose your insurance, you haven't lost your insurance. You gain, most people gain their insurance. And it haven't crippled the economy. So, all those people hollering and screaming, you were wrong. And these people don't even have I guess they don't even have the good decency to come up and say they were wrong. When they wrong, they just be quiet. They just go on about their business, right? And we have to call them out on that. You were wrong about the Affordable Care Act. And I just want to make sure that you know that I said you was wrong. So, we're going to move on. I got a couple more stories. Now, here's some stories. Here it is, y'all. This happened a few months ago. Security guard, father of 9, shot and killed in Michigan after telling the customer to put on a face mask. Now, this is one of the reported first killings that This was in, I forget the county. But anyway, Genesee County, as it is. And what happened was, security guard standing there at the store, I'm not going to call her name, standing out there on guard at the store. This lady and her daughter comes in. The policy is you have to have a mask. They didn't have a mask. He asked the lady, your daughter need to put on a mask, all right? Her daughter gets into an argument with the security guard. They leave out. Probably 20 minutes later, according to the prosecutor, they come back. They come back to the store. She has her, I assume her husband, another man, another guy, walk up to the security officer, argue again, whips out a gun, and shoot and kill the security officer. All because he asked her to put on a mask. The husband claimed that the security officer disrespected his wife. The security officer was following the policy. Another incident. Man's killed Georgia grocery worker in a mask argument in Georgia. This happened just recently, the same thing, all right? The grocery store employee asked the man to put on a mask. That's the store policy. He gets into an argument, leaves out, comes back, shoots the grocery store worker and kills her. So here's the point, folks. How do we get to the point where a policy says you have to follow the policy, which is put on a mask if you want to enter that grocery store and do your shopping, whichever, and we get to the point where people come back and kill the person whom asked them to put on a mask? Now, people say, oh, you're infringing on my freedoms. I don't want to wear a mask. You don't have to go into that store, all right? You went into that store with the sign on the door that said put on a mask, and the person who didn't put the mask on is in violation of store policy, so why go in the store? All right, number two, let me talk about these freedoms. Your freedom ends when you jeopardize my health and safety. And with this coronavirus, your freedom ends because I don't know whether or not you got the virus or not. And you may pass that virus on to me. I may pass that virus on to my family and friends, and I don't want to do that. And if you don't have enough care about your family and friends, whether or not you catch the virus and your family and friends catch the virus, that's on you. But you have no right to come in my space and I don't know whether or not you have the virus or not, and you don't want to put on a mask. That's where your freedom stops. You got it? So don't come to me about this freedom stuff, right? Because I got some freedoms too. I got the freedom to be safe. I got the freedom for my health and safety too. And you're infringing on that. And that's where your freedom stops. So we got to be clear about this stuff. Let me tell you this. You don't see anybody hollering and screaming about no shoes, no shirt, and no service. And there's not a sign anywhere in any of these establishments to say that. But you won't go in there with no shoes or no shirt. And you won't have a fit about that, will you? So why are you having a fit about putting on a mask that will protect yourself and your family and other folks around you? And there's only one reason why you're doing it. It's because a lot of talking heads had made masks a political vendetta or political issue that some kind of way these people think it's good for people to walk around unmasked and don't know whether or not they have the coronavirus or not and may be spreading it. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. So I just want to put that out there. I hate to see this happen. I hate to see things of where these people come back and shoot folks for just asking them to put on a mask. Just put the mask on if the store requires it. And if you see the sign on the door that says no service, no mask, don't go in there. It's just as simple as that. Don't go in. You got it? Tell it to your friends. Excuse me. I told you I had that cold, y'all. I'm getting over that cold. So maybe somebody can send me some home remedies. Don't fill my box up with remedies because one or two of them I may try. So here we go. Clarence Williams, the third. You remember him? He played Link on Mod Squad. Well, he died at 81. Now, some of you young people don't. Mod Squad? What's Mod Squad? Mod Squad was a detective show. And it aired from 1968 to 1973. And I used to watch Mod Squad. And Clarence Williams played Link. Now, some of the other films that Clarence Williams played in, he played Prince's father in Purple Rain. Y'all probably remember Purple Rain and Prince's father. He played that. He played a whole bunch of movies. I didn't know some of these movies he played with, but it was a lot of movies. He played in Miami Vice. He had a part in there. Hill Street Blues. He had a part in there. He also played in Twin Peaks. He also was in Deep Cover and Sugar Hill. Remember Sugar Hill? He played Wesley Snipes, drug addict father. Let's see. He also played in Tales from the Hood. Y'all probably remember that. And he also was in The General's Daughter, and he played in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. That was, if you haven't seen I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, you ought to pull that out. I don't know if you young people seen I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, but you're talking about a funny movie. That was funny. I think he also played it with in How High with I believe it was Dave Chappelle. I think he played in that movie too. That was How High was funny too. I mean, it's kind of like an adult kind of comedy because a lot of drug use, I should say. some of drug use, marijuana is legal in some states and not in others. But Dave Chappelle in that How High movie was hilarious, I would say. So I just want to bring that to note. Clarence Williams III, he was 81 when he died. A lot of people, you've seen him on screen. Some people have seen him on Broadway, where he made a start at. I just wanted to bring that up and say, hey, he's going to be missed. This guy can play serious parts, comedy parts, and everything in between. But the best part I like is when he played Link on the Mod Squad. I used to watch that. Yeah, that's how old I am, by the way. So, without further ado, until the next show, I said we was going to have something on that voter suppression. We're still in the making of that. We're gonna get that to you, folks. We also have some shows on this critical race theory. We're going to tell you what it is and what it ain't. We're going to cut out all the jive because, excuse me, because they know this thing is not what people are saying. And I'm going to have some experts on here to explain all that real soon. So until next time, may God bless you and your family.